welcome Priya Mohanraj. And Priya Mohanraj is professor of economics, but her heart is more into mentoring and counseling and reaching out to the needy. That is what makes her so unique and so different, because her mission is to find meaning and purpose, not only for herself, but for others. That is what makes Priya Mohanraj different as an academician, as professor. So over to you, Professor Priya Mohanraj, to share your perspectives on the heart of a teacher. Over to you.
Educating the mind without educating the heart is really no education at all. And this was said by Aristotle. So thank you, Mr. Braj Gupta and the team at GiantStep for this wonderful invitation to be a part of the gathering, and a happy Teachers' Day to everyone. A great teacher for me is really someone who is more than just intelligence, credentials, and experience. And I think when Braj asked me what I would like to talk about, I said there's something very, very dear to me, and that is the heart of a teacher. So the story goes like this. 24 years of having been in a classroom in Mount Carmel College, it was the 4th of January, 2008, where I was having a lung collapse in a classroom, and that put paid to teaching. And while I convalesced for 9 months, there was that spirit that still drew me to my kids, the classroom interaction, and I was still very much at heart a teacher. And I said, maybe God was giving me another chance to look at the classroom from the outside. And so that was it. I was looking at the classroom from the outside as a counselor and therapist, and understood exactly where the yawning gap was. There were so many dynamics in the classroom. And I asked myself this very honest question, could I have done different? And the answer was very much so. Yes, yes. And therefore, I took this mission out to teachers and students and decided to show them how to make the classroom a second home. Because for me, I think the classroom is a temple of learning. And before we teach our students how to absorb knowledge and assimilate learning, the groundwork has to be prepared in terms of a foundation. And those cornerstones have to be respect for each other. That would also provide a space of trust. I trust you, teacher, to be my guide, to be my facilitator, not to tell me as a student, but to nurture and to help me grow to be the best in terms of my potential. And I'm there also for you, dear student, as a teacher, to journey with you, to partner with you, to enjoy watching you grow. And therefore, this would be partnership together in the program of learning. What do we both need as teacher and student? A sense of belonging. And that's what I have discovered working with so many children. Even the brightest of the bright ones want to matter. I am enough. Do you notice me in a classroom? Because so many of them come from broken homes. And none of us knows exactly the kind of morning that they've had, the kind of, troubles and the kind of challenges that they are faced with at home. But they come with renewed hope and a sense of purpose in their lives to take on learning. And therefore, that sense of belonging is very, very important, so that it gives each one, a place to be recognized, and it boosts the students' self-worth and self-esteem. And our classroom, I think, should be a haven of safety. And when I say safety, my friends, I talk of emotional safety, where a student can bare their soul, where a student can feel free to make a mistake. And I believe when Braj says, let's celebrate mistakes, let's not be judgmental. There's no question of right and wrong, because the very fact that you try and you've tried to give an answer, you've taken initiative, and we all learn along the way. Let us encourage our students to be curious, to ask questions. How do they learn if not by asking questions? Because you and I know, dear friends, once we leave the portals of a college classroom, the real world is so different in terms of challenges. So I think the heart of a teacher must be to create in her classroom and simulate the real world situations within the classroom, to teach their students never to be afraid, to teach their students to be vulnerable. By being vulnerable, I would say, as a teacher yourself, to also understand that every child has a very different learning temperament, a different style, a different nature. So, not to be able to categorize and label and put people in the box, but to just be able to use that entire year to draw them out. So, an example, maybe begin your class day with a little anecdote at the beginning of the class. Maybe end not when the bell goes, but maybe give them 5 minutes to relax. And anybody shares something about the weekend or something, that has touched them during the week, to be able to establish a rapport. Also, a sense of discipline in a classroom that shouldn't be, I think, authoritative, because there's always a resistance to authority, but a love for learning, which will come about when there's consistency. Learning becomes fun time. So I think to be able to be partners in a learning program is very, very important. This would be the epitome of really the heart of a teacher, to make your classroom a second home. Thank you.
Wonderful. वंडरफुल. गलतियों से जुदा तू भी नहीं मैं भी नहीं, गलतियों से जुदा तू भी नहीं मैं भी नहीं, दोनों इंसान हैं, दोनों इंसान हैं, दोनों इंसान हैं, खुदा तू भी नहीं मैं भी नहीं. That is why I talk of celebrating mistakes. Mistakes must happen, be they teachers or be they students.